Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. At 20 minutes before 8 Central Time, Professor Farrell of the Mount Jennings Observatory, Chicago, reports observing several explosions of incandescent gas occurring at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The spectroscope indicates the gas to be hydrogen and moving towards the Earth with enormous velocity.
I'm going to sing. Who's coming?
We now know that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man's, yet as mortal as his own. We now know that as human beings busied themselves about their various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied, perhaps almost as narrowly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize the transient creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water.
The first thing I did is I watched all of the movies I could get my hands on of the different versions of War of the Worlds, and I listened to the broadcast a bunch of times and kind of just kept my head in the game about it, kept it in my mind, and I did, I think about 6 or 7 different sketches of ideas. They kind of range from, much more crab-like creatures and things like that to, with short legs. Then I went to the original, War of the Worlds film idea where I had long legs and, would pick people up and things like that. I pictured the alien going up inside of that little shell when it travels, through space, when it's not on the ground looking for things. It's my idea of kind of what the, preliminary scouts would look like, that land from the main ship. They come down and check everything out and take samples of things and, make lists, whatever they do. My grandmother lived in Princeton at the time, and I think she was listening to her wooden upright radio.
We are celebrating the 80th anniversary of the broadcast of the War of the Worlds. So Grover's Mill, it was the location where in the 1938 broadcast of Orson Welles' dramatization of the War of the Worlds, the Martians were supposed to have landed. And it's interesting in that it was apparently chosen by, a random, act of, a finger on a map. However, it fit very well, being near New York, in a metropolitan area, near Princeton, where there are scientists and an observatory, and in a rural community here. So, the Martian Project is a public art project that has been spearheaded by the West Windsor Arts Council. And our idea is to provide sort of a meeting of the minds, so to speak. So we're looking for sculptors to propose sculptures that fit the theme of outer space, exploration, life, on other planets, with funders, to help support the creation of the work, and sites around West Windsor. So our first sculpture will be placed at the Art Center on location here on our grounds, and it's by Eric Schultz. He's a local sculptor whose grandmother apparently did grow up here in West Windsor, but he is a well-known sculptor from our area who uses found objects to create his work. So, it has an environmental angle where he's recycling these objects, but he's always been fascinated by this subject matter of, life and potential life in outer space. And in fact, his thesis project when he was an undergraduate was a spaceship. So behind me you see a painting by Robert Hummel, and this piece he painted of the Grover's Mill area. There's the old mill building there. You also see the water tower, and of course he has his artistic rendition of the aliens invading. And the original of this is on view at the Grover's Mill Coffee House. And we're so excited to capture this exciting moment. All right, we'll do a little... Scout ship. Okay, on 3 we'll say scout ship. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Scout ship! We were able to bring it to reality, so that's very exciting for us. Having it here indicates that this is a place of creativity and inspiration, and it connects to West Windsor's history as being the spot where the aliens landed during the 1938 broadcast of the War of the Worlds.
On behalf of the whole town, we want to thank the West Windsor Arts Council for, going forward with all this to produce this, and for providing public art for our town. Public art enhances our lives. Public art makes us reflect on things we might not think of in normal, everyday circumstances.
And then, Mayor, would you like to do the honors of our honorary cutting dedication here? All right, and this makes it official. Here we go.
Scout ship! Yay!